Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another review for the Apothecary Diaries. This time, episode 5, the thread. 4, episode 4, the thread. Sorry, I just got done recording like the last reaction, and I mean, the reaction to the episode, and I spoke about like, can't wait to see episode 5, so I was kind of confused here. Um, so before I begin the review itself, you can view the full reaction on Patreon right now for €5 a month, uncut, unedited, picture in picture kind of deal. Um, so you don't have to sync up with your own version of the show. So this episode was like it was really good in my opinion. I had a lot to say about it. The reaction literally took an hour for a 22 minutes episode. I mean, 23 minutes episode. So I wasn't expecting at first because it wasn't made clear at the end of episode 3 um, that the person asking for the apothecary was the emperor. Like, obviously, it was someone with power because, I mean, someone of a high stature because they, a stature? I don't know. Because they were. Like it was a man allowed to go into the rare palace, but I wasn't expecting him to be the emperor himself. And so, like, it was focused on another character. I was expecting at some point that we would get some more of Lady Lifa because, like, since she was shown at the beginning of the show, it felt natural that she would be a part of the story at some point. I wasn't expecting it to be so soon, admittedly, but yeah, like, I think it was interesting in the fact that like it showed that it still follows the moral, I guess, of ignorance really is a sin, um, because like especially like ignorance born of arrogance in that specific point, the arrogance of a lady in waiting, convinced that she knew better than than others and that she could uh, do like she could keep using something that was literally told to her that it was poison. Um, so yeah, like, I found it really fun to see Mao Mao. I mean, really fun. I guess really interesting rather to see Mao Mao snap like that. Like there's just something about characters that are usually so reserved, like really they're usually really reserved and stuff, to just suddenly like snap, and for like good reasons, of course. Like it was a good reason for her to snap, and um like I found it interesting that we would see such a side already. Like I could maybe have predicted that she would at some point snap, possibly. Although like I wasn't really sure because the show had not shown any possibility for that yet. The only side of Mao Mao that we saw that was different from her usual reserved self is when she's preparing something and she's really excited about it, or when she's running like some experiments. I wasn't expecting her to have that kind of side where she somehow shifts into even lower tones because she already has like a naturally low voice, and like for her to shift even lower and then raise her voice still in that lower tone, like it was like really really nice to see and felt really deserved, of course. Um, so I was expecting at some point. I talked about it during the election, right before it happened. I was thinking that like the best way to go through with it would be to ask Jinshi for help, and yeah, like that's basically he took the lead here to do it himself. which was necessary because Mao Mao probably wouldn't have wanted to deal with him. Um, but it was necessary for him to step in for the ladies in waiting to finally let Mao Mao do her job. Like she could, like I was surprised that she didn't bring up the fact that it was an order from the emperor himself. But yeah, like it was another like it was also another lesson on how to properly like heal the body or to prevent someone sick from getting any worse. I do find it interesting because it's using a lot of actual knowledge, um, like based on a lot of things that I'm aware of and things that I've experienced. I know that it's based on a lot of actual knowledge. I don't know if it would be considered anachronistic because, like, there were probably people back in the days who had that kind of knowledge, but it wasn't widespread knowledge. Like ignorance was still, I mean, like education was still something that was reserved for specific people and not for everyone. But ladies in waiting, I'm pretty sure, like, are considered higher classes of servants and are supposed to be given some kind of education. Um, but the fact that here it was like they kept making wrong decisions all the time by feeding her really heavy stuff, even though she was weak and couldn't move, couldn't eat, couldn't do anything. Um, I'm also glad that it like at first I was afraid that since the white powder was still being used on her, despite it being banned, I was afraid that it could be something about a like an actual deliberate poisoning, an assassination attempt, which I don't know who or why it would be done. Aside from the fact that she is a main concubine, but I don't know like what purpose it would serve for anyone. Maybe someone who would want to hurt the emperor, I guess. But yeah, like I'm glad that it turned out to not to be something deliberate. I mean, something to deliberately harm her. It was deliberate in a way, but it was like as I said, ignorance based on arrogance. Um, so yeah, it was a more simple story than I expected. I mean, like, yeah, more simple reason. So far, like, I think almost every episode I've had that idea of maybe it was someone deliberately poisoning or like, and every time I'm being foiled by the fact that no, it's just people being ignorant and hurting themselves or hurting others because they don't know better. And like Mao Mao is essentially having to take that role of teaching them how wrong they are about stuff and how to get better. Like she was like it must have been extremely tiring for her to have to not only take care of someone who was really sick because she was still being poisoned uh, by accident, I guess, and also have to take the time to teach the other servants, I mean the other ladies in waiting, what to do and stuff. And yeah, like Momo is getting more and more like freedom, I guess, in this rare palace. I mean, of course, like she doesn't have the freedom to just leave and go back to her father, but like she's getting more and more freedom to go around and interact with a lot more people, with a lot more places, even going so far as to tell Jinshi uh, to make servants build a steam bath that is something like she's getting some form of power in her own way that is kind of detached from the rest of it while being at the same time integrated with everything in the palace. Like she's becoming she's getting more freedom than the doctor himself. I'm pretty sure, like at this point, and that's because people are starting to trust her more and more, and know that they can count on her to take care of anything disease or ailment related. I mean, at the same time, like I guess she probably doesn't have the time to experiment and stuff on her own because of it. But so it's kind of like not really working well necessary for her. But yeah, like she definitely is not treated as bad as other servants. Aside from at the beginning of the episode, of course, when the ladies in waiting were being really annoying, to say the least. Um, but yeah, and we got a stinger that seems to show that the next episode will be about eunuchs having some kind of issue that they believe is a curse, but it's probably something more natural related, like they burn the wrong kind of wood or something. I don't know, and it caused some kind of issue for them. I guess we'll see, of course. Um, I don't have more to say for this review. It's a shame, really, because as I said at the beginning, it was a really interesting episode that brought of a lot of good concept. But I guess like what I talked most about when I did the reaction was like I went on tangents or different kind of stuff that were related to the episode in some way, but were going very were going very far away from it after a while. Like the whole thing about um the fact that your body needs to drink no matter what because you can only survive 3 days without drinking and 30 days without eating. And then there's another part to it because it's a rule of three. And I think it's about like you can only go a certain amount of time without air. I think it's 3 minutes. I might be wrong. But it's like a rule of threes regarding like everything that your body needs to survive and how long you can go without them. Like I think it's like 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without drinking, and I mean without water, and 30 days without food. Because it was like at some point it was said that yeah, like Lady Leaf was made to drink. I'm pronouncing it that way, by the way. Uh, Lady Lifa because that's the way they pronounce it. Even it is written Lihua, they pronounce it Lifa, so I'm going to pronounce it Lifa. Um, like she was made to drink, even if it hurts, even if it hurt, because like it was necessary to at least get some nutrients started and get her body to work properly again. Because like a lot of it boils down to the fact that your body has ways to naturally take care of harmful stuff as long as you give it the time to do it. Like you give it the opportunity to do it. If you're constantly doing stupid shit that can harm your body, then at some point it will be overwhelmed. But it's constantly keeping itself alive um, and like safe from any threat. It's the reason why when you're sick, you need to rest. Like even if like you feel like you need to do something else, or you have uh something that you can't, like you don't think you can get away from, like for example, like if you're really sick and your boss tells you to go to work, don't fucking do it. Like it shouldn't even be logical for you to be liable to being fired just because you refuse to go to work when you are sick. If you're sick, your body needs to rest. Because if you're working, if you're going around, you're using up energy. And that's energy that your body needs to heal itself. That's the same reason why you don't eat too much when you're healing. You shouldn't eat too much because your body can't like support it. I actually like I saw no I was watching a video from uh, a content creator that I follow, and she just has had a surgery like a few days ago, and she said like basically while after the surgery, like the same day I think, she went to go buy fast food, a lot of it, and she was munching on it and stuff, and she said like later that night she just vomited it all, and that's for a good reason because her body was still like trying to handle the aftermath of his surgery. He decided, you know what, there's too much stuff that I need to take care of. There's too much stuff in the stomach that needs to be digested. We're going to get rid of it. We don't need that right now. And that's basically the body's way to tell you're doing too much. You're going too far. And so, like, a lot of the time, you need to just rest. Simply just rest. Let your body take care of itself. Don't force yourself to do anything that would take too much energy, and don't force yourself to eat too much. Like even if you need to eat, of course, like uh eat something light when you're like not going well. Eat something light. As long as you eat, that's all that matters. And it's not something harmful, of course. But yeah, like that's one of the things that was brought here in the episode because the servants were literally bring your stuff like shellfish and stuff like that, and like it was, I think it was some crab. Um, and like, do you know how long it takes for your body to break down food like crab and stuff like that? Like any kind of shellfish, really. Hang on, let me check. I can catch it again because like I still have the episode open for me. Um, yeah, you had like crab, dumplings, an entire fish. Um, like it's way too much for a body, for a sick body to handle. Like we have, um, I think like I remember seeing some kind of meme about the fact that apparently it's often when someone is sick from specific diseases. I don't remember which one it is, but like there are some diseases where usually what they are brought is some chicken, like literally like they're just given some chicken, and that's kind of a meme I guess I saw somewhere. But like it is a light food, I guess, but don't eat too much. I mean, it's lighter than most food. It's not as heavy. As long as you don't eat too much. I guess the issue here with the content creator that I was talking about was because it was fried. Like it's probably heavier because you got like all like crust and stuff. Like it's made of flour, Flower is really takes a lot more time to break down. But anyway, yeah, an interesting episode as always. Like this show keeps impressing me in how it keeps me attached to a story that I usually would not enjoy because I'm not the kind to just like I don't mind any kind of slice of life and stuff like that. But when it gets really technical about a specific kind of work or something or a specific kind of knowledge, then it can bore me if I don't know enough. But here it's like it's basically applying modern knowledge, like modern common sense, to a setting that is set in the past where people did not have that knowledge or that common sense. But some people did have it. They did have it because they specialized in learning, and that's why I think that's why it makes it so like interesting because we can relate to having that kind of knowledge and feeling like uh feeling like there is a danger to not knowing those kind of things. But anyway, can't wait to see what the next episode has in store, which will be episode 5, covert operations. I'm thinking about possibly like jumping to a another way to do stuff instead of releasing one episode a week like I'm been doing so far. Possibly like releasing episodes as soon as I'm done recording them, because otherwise like it would take for me to finish the first season of the anime. It would take me half a year, and I feel like it would be too much. I kind of want to. I'm usually a binge watcher. When I'm watching stuff on my own, I binge watch a lot. So like I would love to possibly jump to that kind of format instead, which would allow me to catch up to more shows as well in the future because there are a lot more than I want to see. I set the list of shows I plan to watch in. I don't remember if it was a review for Cyberpunk episode 4 or Freyren season 2 episode 4. But in one of these, I think no, it was Cyberpunk. I remember now because I was talking specifically about one anime that I do not plan on watching anyway. In any case, like at any point. Another thing, by the way, another kind of anime I do not plan to watch at any point, at least for now. Long runs anime. I'm talking like the big ones. Naruto, One Piece. Like I'm not catching up to over 1,000 episodes of One Piece. I've never watched. I mean, I've watched the first episode a long, long time ago. I'm not. I'm not trying. I'm not gonna try to catch up with it. Uh, Otherwise, it would take my entire channel, and that's not what I want. I know that they plan on releasing a shortened version of it, where they remove a lot of the filler stuff. But I feel like it would like I often feel like filler stuff is not necessarily a problem because a lot of the time they teach you a lot more about the way characters are or stuff like that. So it's like it helps you understand them better in their motivations and their actions. So I don't know if it would possibly like remove some of that understanding and knowledge that you get. And I don't know if it will probably still be like a few hundred episodes long. So yeah, like I'm not planning on watching it or any other long run. Anyway, I'm gonna end the review right here. Once again, you can see the full unedited uncut reaction on Patreon right now for €5 a month. Picture in picture, you don't need to sync up to leave your own version. And yep, I guess I'll see you next time for episode 5 covered operation.